Welcome once again. Today we are diving into a topic that sparks a lot of curiosity: the final fate of some of the most infamous dictators in history.
Exactly. H. Names like Hitler, Mussolini, Pinochet, Mao Zedong, and others are among the most abominable figures humanity has ever seen. While they were in power, they were responsible for the deaths of millions of people.
And it is natural that we want to know how these dictators met their end. Let us start with the most notorious of them all, Adolf Hitler.
Hitler, leader of the Nazi Party and one of the main figures behind the Second World War, needs no introduction. He was directly responsible for the Holocaust and the deaths of millions of Jews.
But how did he actually die?
On April 30th, 1945, inside a bunker in Berlin, Hitler took his own life by shooting himself.
There are many conspiracy theories saying he escaped and hid in other countries.
Yes, but these stories have no solid basis. The most widely accepted conclusion among researchers is that he really did commit suicide. The war was lost, he knew that, and he chose what he saw as the easiest way out to avoid being captured, judged for his crimes, and possibly tortured.
And the confusion around his death?
That happened because the Soviets were the first to reach the bunker, and Joseph Stalin decided to hide the details from the rest of the world. He preferred that only the Soviet Union knew exactly what had happened, leaving the other nations with the lingering fear that Hitler might somehow return.
From Europe, we jump to South America to talk about Augusto Pinochet in Chile.
Pinochet came to power in 1973 after a military coup against the socialist president Salvador Allende. His regime lasted 17 years and was marked by authoritarian rule, disappearances, torture, and the repression of any opposition.
And what was his final fate?
Unlike many of his victims, Pinochet lived a long life. He was pushed out of power through a plebiscite in 1988, but remained a senator for life. He died in 2006 at the age of 91, officially from a heart attack, without ever being fully judged for the human rights violations attributed to his government.
Let us move to Asia and talk about Mao Zedong.
Mao became the main leader of China in 1949 after the Communist Revolution. His rule was marked by radical campaigns to accelerate industrialization, which led to agricultural collapse and a gigantic famine. It is estimated that tens of millions of Chinese citizens died as a result of these policies.
How did his story end?
Mao died on September 9, 1976, at the age of 82. His health was very poor, and he had suffered several heart problems before finally passing away. Even after his death, his image continued to be used as a symbol of the Chinese state.
In the Middle East, a very well-known name is Saddam Hussein in Iraq.
Saddam officially became president in 1979. His government was based on heavy repression, a strong personality cult, and a wide security and intelligence apparatus.
And his end was very different from Mao and Pinochet.
After the United States invaded Iraq, Saddam was captured in December 2003. He was tried by an Iraqi court and in 2006 was convicted of crimes against humanity. He was sentenced to death by hanging and executed on December 30, 2006, in an event that was filmed and seen around the world.
Back in Europe, we have Benito Mussolini in Italy.
Mussolini founded the National Fascist Party and ruled Italy as a dictator from the 1920s. During the final phase of the Second World War, he tried to escape dressed in a German uniform, but was captured on April 27, 1945.
And what happened next?
On April 28, 1945, Mussolini and his lover Claretta Petacci were executed by firing squad. Their bodies were taken to Milan, hung upside down in a public square, and humiliated by the population. This is exactly the kind of fate that Hitler feared when he chose suicide.
Now we move to Libya to talk about Muammar Gaddafi.
Gaddafi came to power after a military coup in 1969 and ruled the country for more than 4 decades. His regime mixed Arab nationalism, personal cult, and violent repression, and some estimates link him to tens of thousands of deaths.
And his fall was part of the Arab Spring.
Exactly. In 2011, uprisings supported by NATO led to the collapse of his regime. On October 20, 2011, Gaddafi was captured by rebel forces and killed shortly afterward without any formal trial. Images of his capture and death circulated widely and were celebrated by many Libyans.
To close our list, we return to the Soviet Union with Joseph Stalin.
After removing his rivals, Stalin ruled the Soviet Union with absolute power. He promoted rapid industrial growth and forced collectivization in the countryside, but also ordered mass purges, executions, and deportations to labor camps known as gulags. Millions of people died directly or indirectly because of his government.
How did he die?
Stalin died on March 5, 1953, at the age of 74. He suffered a stroke while alone in his residence and was only found hours later. Officially, his death is linked to a cardiac arrest during medical treatment, although there are long-lasting rumors that he may have been poisoned by his own inner circle.
We have seen that the final fate of these dictators varied a lot. Some, like Pinochet, Mao, and Stalin, died in bed, of natural causes. Others, like Mussolini and Gaddafi, met violent deaths at the hands of their enemies or their own people. Hitler chose suicide rather than face capture.
And it is important to remember that beyond the names we have mentioned, there are still authoritarian leaders in power today, whose final chapter has not yet been written.
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you in the next episode.